Good to see you. Obviously got a tremendous opponent coming in here tomorrow night, a team and a program that I have an immense amount of respect for and have for a number of years. You know, it's certainly a blue blood program in our sport, and they've got a young team like we do. I think there's going to be times where, well, I don't know that there'll be a senior on the floor tomorrow, given the fact that Andre Wesson will be out again tomorrow. But obviously a tremendous team, tremendous program. You guys know the respect and admiration I have for Jay and what he's done throughout his career. I think he's one of the very, very best. So excited about the challenge, and we will need to be really good. Villanova is always one of the soundest and toughest teams physically and certainly mentally that I've ever prepared to play for or prepared to play. They do not get shook in any way, ever. Their teams play with incredible poise, and they are just, it is I thought game one was physical. I think this is, you know, they are a really physical bunch.
Their size jumps out at me on the roster.
Yes.
With Caleb's importance to you, fair to assume that I assume they're gonna try to double and all that. You mentioned the other night that he's better at getting passing out of that, and you have more depth to maybe take some of that offensive pressure off.
Yeah, they've always really shrunk the floor in the post. The thing that makes them a little bit different than teams that Nova teams I've competed against in the past is their size. At times they'll put 5 guys out there who are 6'8" or bigger, or at least 6'4", 6'8", 6'8", 6'9". You know, it's they have tremendous size, length, and versatility, particularly at the 2 through the 5 spots. But also the point guard has good size. Gillespie has good size, and their freshman has really good size. So I think it's going to be hard. They're great, not good. They are elite at keeping the ball out of the post. Elite. They're an elite defensive team, but they're elite at keeping the ball out of the post. Even when you think you have a mismatch, they're tremendous at it. So listen, I think that what we've got to do is the ball's got to move, and I think this is a game where I said it going in the last game, but if you thought of a prototypical game where we could honestly use not only Andre's brain, his mind, his toughness, but his length. This is certainly a game like that. So we'll be smaller significantly at the wing spot than they are, and we'll have to counteract that in some ways.
Chris, how much is chemistry something that you coach? How much of it is something you recruit? I mean, your guys talked about one of the reasons that they like this team is they feel sort of a special bond with one another.
You know, I think that I think your chemistry, you learn a lot about your chemistry once you go through some hard stuff. So, we'll see how that maintains itself throughout the year. But I think we've got really good kids who really like each other. Roles are still being developed and formed. But I think you are mindful. I think selfish teams always struggle with chemistry. That's always been my experience. So you try to recruit guys that understand what they're being a part of and what's being asked of them. And if not, you address it.
Do you feel, just go back with versus asking, do you feel like your team is any more better equipped to find offense in a game where it is going to be so difficult to get the ball into the post, just based off what you've seen through these first 2 games?
This year as opposed to last year, you mean?
Yeah.
Time will tell. Time will tell. I think that we will be. I think we will be. Are we there yet? I don't know. I don't know. You know, I think we played a pretty daggone good defensive team in Cincinnati, and I think we're going to play a pretty daggone good, an elite defensive team in Villanova. Both teams extremely physical, but so that's getting tested here early. I think that that's my hope that we'll get to that point, both in the diversification in Caleb's game and also just more guys that can impact things. I don't know that we're there yet.
You had talked about the second half against Cincinnati, just sort of scrapping set plays and just letting guys play basketball.
Yeah.
Is that hard as a coach? I know you just want to find whatever works, but
Yeah.
you know, to let guys, I don't know if I want to call it playing out of structure, but just a little sort of figure it out on the floor on their own. I don't know, is that a difficult thing to do?
Well, the luxury is Caleb in that situation. To be honest with you, that was the luxury in that game, to have a big who put them in difficult situations. And the reason it was really a decision at halftime, almost actually walking out of halftime, and we kind of inverted our offense a little bit. In the luxury in that is a guy like Caleb, that you have to be aware of his ability to shoot. Now, Villanova plays differently. Their personnel's differently. They switch a lot more. They'll switch Caleb. So it's a little bit different, and that's going to probably take some feeling out as well. But your point, I think, is, you know, you always go in with a certainly set play package. That's always been a big part of what we do. But there are games, and that was an example where it's just hard with the way they're playing to execute, and your team has to respond, and they did certainly in the second half, shooting the percentage we did.
What does it mean for the program to have a top 10 team coming in non-conference? We've talked about the schedule a lot,
Yeah.
and what you guys can build from it, but just to have this from a program's point of view, getting fans out, all that type of stuff, what does that mean for you?
It's great. It's great. I hope it's not understated how important it is. And I said that when I was at Butler, and I said it here when we played Michigan State our first year, and they were number one, I believe they were number one at the time, I think. You know, that it's a real compliment to the program coming in. But I think it's to have a team of this caliber come in. It's a great thing. I mean, it's great for our program. I know in the past there have been tremendous programs that have come through here, but to have that this early in the year at home is just tremendous. And I know our guys are excited. I hope Buckeye Nation is excited.
What do you hope to learn? You mentioned another physical team. What do you hope to learn from this game that you can then carry forward?
You know, I think I hope to learn how we handle some adversity in the course of the game. I hope to learn a little bit about our how we are physically and mentally compared to them, and what's going to be required in a game like this. And then you know, I hope to learn how we respond to moments. I think all those, you know, we're going to be put in a lot of different situations, and I'm anxious to see how we respond.